There we go.
Hello,
Alrighty.
everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. For
Hi,
all of
everyone.
the people who've watched, I did a LinkedIn post which got a lot of hits this week, and it was a weird experience to go, oh, I've written something someone cares about. Anyway, all right. It was about empathy and consulting, in case anyone's interested, in my opinion, that maybe it's an undervalued skill. So, when last we saw Intrepid Adventurers / Drug Runners, they had successfully, perhaps to their own surprise, managed to get to the bottom of the ziggurat and find the body of a navigator. What's funny is I changed the module at the beginning. I re-listened to the video last night and I realized, oh, I didn't actually include the navigator story particularly strongly in the original intro. So, but anyway, moving on. So you found the navigator body. You found the navigator's clone in the pod people who tried to eat you, or at least tried to persuade you to take them places so that they could eat other people. Unfortunately for them, and perhaps fortunately for you, you were able to see through it, and it's important to note that Attila received 48 dice of attacks and received exactly 3 points of damage as a result of the 48 dice of attacks, which was the saddest moment in GMing history. No, not quite.
Yeah.
It was pretty close.
As literally the only person in the zone with the monster when it launched all of its attacks.
Just because I'm invincible, mate.
Just unbelievable. At which point you then tore them apart. You tore apart giant trees, you tore apart not so giant trees, and you have now left the ziggurat, having decided that the most valuable thing you found is actually proof that the navigators were here, and bought the body, or at least the ID bracelet of the navigator who was in the depths. You've boarded your shuttle, the Eponius Attila's Circus. And
the shuttle is called the Grasshopper. We are Attila's Circus.
That is true. Technically, the shuttle is a grasshopper. It's a class of ship. But either way, you are boarding. You've boarded the grasshopper, and you are now winging your way through the atmosphere, happy and cheerful, having survived your first ever proper delve with aplomb. Maybe you guys are actually much better at this than you gave yourselves credit for in the end. It's like maybe the Black Toad operative who originally selected you, whose name I actually wrote down last night when I re-listened to things and went, I better pay attention to who that was. Georgie. Georgie, who showed you great confidence and possibly a fair degree of threat, has proven to be correct in his assessment that you would make it work. And unlike Yasina's assumption, will not be saving the money that they would have saved if half of you were dead when you finally got back to the ship city. So, can I just ask a couple of just one very simple question? Who is actually the pilot of the Grasshopper?
I think I asked that question on the way out here.
bird.
I can't remember what the answer was.
I think the answer was the bird.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
He knows how to fly, and he has thumbs.
Yeah.
He knows how to fly with his wings, not
And
a
he-
spaceship.
And he's got attitude.
Technicalities.
Tariq.
Okay.
It's not written in the rules?
Well, no, it's up to you guys. No, it's not written in the rules.
Surely it's got to have somebody with a decent
agility would be my strong
Agility.
advice.
Yeah.
I have 4.
Well, that sounds a bit shit. Surely someone
Please make it Eosa. Please make it Eosa.
Let's have a look at what I've got.
Come on, somebody's got to have a 5 in it.
I've got 3. It's not me.
There we go. Ashmira. Ashmira and Jed. There we go.
Okay, so so is Asmira's got 5 as well? 5 for Asmira and 5 for
Verlof.
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 Well, maybe we can take turns.
Well, it'd be good if one of you had a piloting skill as well. Just saying.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
No, that's not me.
But look, so far, you've
would be
done the
brilliant.
entire adventure without a single talent in the direction of what you actually need to be able to do. So why change now?
Why change
Yeah,
that?
That's why we're drug
why,
dealers.
Why change the habit of a lifetime?
That's
Why
right.
we're drug dealers.
I'm putting it on autopilot and then I pretend to steer. So
Okay, good. Yeah, that'll work. All right,
Excellent.
so-
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, all you have to do is return to the Hamura.
What could go wrong?
Connect up and sail into the darkness of the Great Dark, trusting in the confidence that the ship will protect you from everything that can happen to you. As
could put
you
up a- we
are...
could-
Sorry. No, go,
I was
Villa.
just gonna say we could put up a flyer with like those little like phone number tabs at the bottom, like looking for pilot.
You could. It could be the extra member of your crew that you've been, thinking. And it'll be the one person.
Well, the
who's
quicker we
actually
get
got
home, the
skills.
quicker we get to experience, and then one of us might have pilot.
Exactly right.
Exactly,
I
good
like
point.
that
Yeah.
attitude. All right.
Can we
so,
get, what was it, 5k each?
Actually, I redid the math for you, and everything, including and up to the return travel, means that you will actually get 6,000 rook
Woohoo!
We're
in
that's
in,
a lot.
in pay, because you've been
Each.
traveling each. Yes, once again, yes. Yes,
Suddenly, I'm
Each.
as rich as Croesus.
Exactly right. This explorer delver thing. Who knew?
I can get myself
Please.
a better pistol than a fusillade.
I just see all I see is Justina counting the can I make it back to Kua? Wait a second. Let me see how much I need.
All right.
Well,
so,
no, in my first instance, actually having met some things and had them thump me, a better gun is the
yeah, that one-shot wonder that is the fusillade pistol does feel a trifle undergunned, underpowered. All right, so I actually think right now Asmira has turned on the autopilot. I think this is a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
So Asmira, you've gone to the front, you've turned on the autopilot. The ship is lifting off the surface. You're all in the back of the Grasshopper, already spending the money you're going to make. Because
Going through the catalogs.
I actually think that's how it's working. Like,
Oh
you're
yeah,
all sitting there
absolutely.
flicking
money's
through
already
weapons
gone.
catalogs. Some people are looking at Verlof's coiler carbine saying, how much does one of those cost? Because that was really effective and the rest of us have shit weapons. Verlof's going, you have to be trained to use one of these things, and getting more and more terrified at the thought of the rest of the group having an automatic weapon and with the level of skill that they've so far displayed using it.
Verlof is happy to be the only one behind the
That's right. I
autopilot.
would like to be the one with the stock of the weapon in my shoulder, not with the barrel pointing in my general direction. So this conversation is going on, and it's going really well. The ship is now, 100, 200 meters above, the surface of the planet. You can feel the thrusters now, sort of angling down and kicking in to push you. When you hear a sound you've never heard before, Asmira, you hear the proximity alert on your shuttle going off. Now, you've literally never heard this sound before, and it takes you more than a second to go, what is that noise?
Your proper response to this is, who's flying this thing? Oh, that would be me.
No, it's the autopilot, actually.
Someone take over.
Someone take
Take
Does
over.
everyone
So it's
look
not
at a
my
sphere
fault.
at that point and say, but you're the pilot?
Yeah, you've
Jet
flown
now
this thing
is-
hundreds of times. You should be
Jet's-
fine.
Jet's the pilot.
All right,
Verlof, take the
Asmira,
wheel.
Stare at the screens and try to understand what's actually happening.
Okay, so you raced it. So you turned on autopilot, wandered into the back of the Grasshopper. It was just going to take you out of atmosphere. It's a doddle, does it all the time. the proximity alert has gone off because another shuttle has been detected coming in hard and fast from above you. You have a look on your screens. Make a perception roll, please.
Can I use my lookout talent?
You absolutely can.
Hey.
See what if that helps.
And
Yes.
it
Oh, yeah, look
does.
at
It
that.
helps a lot.
Look at that.
Okay, you're flicking through the screens. You're actually looking at screens that you've never bothered to turn on before.
Oh, no.
These are the screens that tell you that scan incoming vessels, and you didn't know this, but some of them even will do things like detect weaponry and other things. So you're getting like full profile readouts of this shuttle that's coming in hard and fast. You're in a grasshopper, right? So that's the kind of kit bashed shuttle of the poor. Let's put it that way. It's perfectly
It's a
fine.
VW microbase of space.
It is. It absolutely is. The thing that's coming in fast is known as a manta. Now, the name alone might suggest to you grasshopper, manta. There's a sense that maybe one of these things is not like the other.
Run away, I think, is.
So it's coming down fast and hard. It doesn't have a working identification beacon. So the identification beacon has been deliberately turned off, so you can't tell what
It's a pirate, is what you're telling us.
Well, it could be any number of people who don't want people to know who they are. The list is endless. But yes, let's work on the assumption it's likely to be a pirate or someone similar. It's also armed, and specifically, with 2 successes, it's armed with what is known as a harpoon cannon.
Ooh.
It's whalers.
Needless to say, harpoon cannons are highly charged electromagnetic weapons that fire a cable attached to something that magnetically attaches to something else and drags and sort of attaches it or adheres, and then they come and crunch on top of you and then
So
try
they're
and board
reavers,
you.
not pirates.
Yeah, more reavers. That's possibly a very good image to hold. Although I must say the
I've
manta is
got
in
an idea.
beautiful condition. It is in no way
Smoking at the back.
smoking
with
at the
its-
back or with broken bits of metal flying off it or anything like that. This is a
I've got an
thing of
idea.
beauty.
At
Why
least,
don't we?
at least not yet.
At least not yet. Exactly. All right.
There's a
So
cunning
this thing is
plan.
coming down on top of you at a great rate of knots.
Right.
Samira, your very fundamental assumption is it's coming down for you. This is not landing. It is definitively coming after you.
Why
With
don't
trembling
we?
hand, I switch off the autopilot and I shout back, "Do you know if we have any weapons on this shuttle?"
Not a clue.
A quick, to quote my favorite line from Red Dwarf, literally the greatest line ever spoken on any science fiction TV show. Why don't we blast it with our laser cannons? Well, sir, there's only 2 problems with that. 1, we don't have any laser cannons, and 2, we don't have any laser cannons. I realize it's only 1 problem, but it's such a biggie, I thought I'd mention it twice. She's literally the greatest line ever spoken on a science fiction show.
Oh, yeah,
Possibly
absolutely.
forever. So the answer to your fundamental question is no. Your grasshopper is not armed and does not carry any weapons. You have
So the way
a
I
hauler style shuttle, and you're being chased by a we blow things out of the air style shuttle.
Okay,
there's
I'm
the-
going to try a thing. Can I get to the comm desk?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay, I am going to sit at the comm desk, put out on all frequencies. We will warn you only once. This is the wrong vessel to attack. Protected by the Toad and the Coriolis.
Hey. So you're blasting a warning out on all channels. Great. Okay. Okay, you're doing that. So the rules that we hadn't used, by the way, in case anyone hadn't worked it out, were the combat vehicle rules, which I thought, deserved at least a go before we wrapped up. So and also would give you something to cry about when you were all dead at the end of the.
Right, Jed, get outside the airlock with your coiler gun.
I'll get Vera.
Well, the beautiful thing is it's not there is an airlock, but there's also just the rear doors, which of course completely drop so that you can drive your rover in. So there's this giant, sort of armored sort of all-terrain vehicle parked in the back of your shuttle, which you didn't use because you were literally 100 meters from the ziggurat when you landed. But so you can sort of squeeze past it and drop the back.
And the vehicle,
or we could chuck the ATV at it if it gets really close behind us.
Now, I will just make the point: ATVs cost a bit of money. So when one looks at your 6,000 rook and goes, "This is so much money," you'll be walking a lot if you drop the rover.
Let's not do that.
Let's call that Plan B.
Yeah.
Captain, I don't want to. I don't want to tell you your job, Captain, but I suggest the crew should secure everything in the hold.
I would suggest the same thing. I've been trying to say there's two ideas: fight or run away, or fight and run. There's three ideas: fight and run away. Yes,
don't think intimidating them into submission. That's what I'm trying.
Yes.
Are you like a waiter? Are you offering us options? I don't understand, Captain.
I'm just putting it to the group.
Today's special.
What would everyone like to do?
Is our our rover, is it armed?
No.
Is your rover armed? Well, that's a good question. No.
Quick, 47-point turn in the rover.
I tell you what, this sounds like the captain should make a roll to see if the rover is armed.
What am I rolling?
Blind luck. Let's see. What stat feels least helpful?
Insight.
I gotta say, the rover upgrades don't appear to include any weapons.
He is
That's
panicking.
because they're always armed.
It needs a gun turret upgrade and then a rover weapon in a separate list.
Now, it does seem like they want to capture us and maybe board us rather than blast us out of the sky, which they probably would have done already.
Why don't we let them board and kill them and take their shit?
Yes.
All right, so can you make an insight roll for me, please?
Me?
Yeah.
Could it be someone else, please?
No, because I said it was the captain. Literally what I said. All right, go.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, your insight is a bit shit, isn't it?
It
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just noticing that now?
Yeah. That fundamental ability to make decisions for the future it turns out, not one of Attila's greatest strengths.
Look, we're here to this isn't the usual job.
So, pilot Asmira, you're literally you are in charge. You have the ship. You have got the candles. You've assumedly turned off the autopilot because going in a straight line straight up doesn't feel like a likely success plan. What do you want to do? Now, a couple of things you should be aware of just before you do that. Sorry, my apologies. One, you can get someone to push the engine effectively to give you greater speed and maneuverability at the risk, of course, of the engine pumping out that black smoke we were referring to earlier by overloading it. You can actually attempt to ram the other ship. Your ship is actually tougher than a Manta. This is actually your one advantage. The Grasshopper is actually much more heavily built, or not much more, but somewhat more heavily built than a Manta. Mantas are beautifully designed for fast maneuverability. Grasshoppers are beautifully designed to crunch down on top of things and not break when they do so. You don't actually have any genuine countermeasures, but there's a back door and you could throw things at it. And you could force any number of crew members to stand on top of the Grasshopper and shoot their pistols at the oncoming weapon. on the oncoming fighter.
Coiler. That's the thing, not the pistols.
True.
Yeah,
but I
myself-
much preferred the mental image of going back to, sort of 1914 and pilots having special pistols to fire at each other as they circle each other in their aeroplanes.
Yes.
Could I chuck that bit of blight
enjoying
at them that's in the cargo hold?
All right, so what I'm going to do to manage the talking is I'm just going to go around the room, as it were. So, Esmira, as the pilot, what are you doing?
How close is the other ship? I mean, I would like to fly straight towards it, but only if it's close. If it's not close, then that's just madness.
Well, it's winging at you at a great rate of knots. If you effectively angle your ship in its general direction, you will close distance very fast.
Well, that's what I do.
It's got a gravity assist.
Ramming speed.
It's got its thrusters on full. So it's coming down as hard and as fast as it can. All right, so you want to close the distance as quickly as possible.
And as an old hull guard myself, I shout to Verlof, get out on the hull!
All right, so that then beautifully allows us to move to Verlof. Verlof, what would you like to do? Are you going to clamber out on top of the grasshopper?
Well, naturally.
Awesome.
I just wanted to say, though, I am absolutely entertained by the mental image of Esmira trying to pilot desperately, and then every other member of the crew standing around her seat at the same time trying to give her suggestions and instructions.
Yeah.
Push that button.
Yes. Yes. But anyway, yes, Verlof will grab the coiler and I guess, does he still have his delving suit on?
Yeah, you've probably got some elements of your delving suit on. I think you've taken your helmet off.
Yeah.
But yeah, sure.
Okay. So that might give me an element of protection. Yeah, and then I guess I will go figure out the logistics of how to climb out on the hull without falling to my death immediately.
Yes,
awesome.
I shout at you to don't forget to strap you in. Or down.
Strap you down.
All right.
But ideally, if I can shoot out of the back of the ship without actually trying to climb onto the exterior of a flying aircraft, that would be preferable.
But then we have to run away from them. Well, now we're going straight towards them, so...
Yeah, but
maybe I can
sling
around the side,
straight towards them. Either we'll hit them, or they'll get out of the way, and then they'll be behind us.
Yeah,
they'll be behind us very quickly. Either we hit them and blow up, or they'll be behind us here very shortly.
What happens if Jed is on the hull and they hit it and we hit them?
Which is why it's
I will keep going.
If Verlof is inside.
All right, so Verlof, you pop the roof, you pop this thing on the top like an airlock, and you're gonna sort of hang desperately onto the ladder that takes you up into that airlock point.
Can it be belayed or have a carabiner or something?
Sure, go for it. Well, yes, I mean you're equipped with climbing gear. I think we've established that previously, so you can do that. Can you make your agility roll, please, to successfully anchor yourself to said equipment? And if you have any talents that are applicable to, I'd like to anchor myself to things and not fall off them, that would be a good thing to call out.
Acrobat? Probably not,
a little bit of a stretch. But I will actually, having said what I just said, I will give you a bonus of 1 die for the carabiner / climbing equipment you're going to be using.
Okay. So it's just a agility roll straight, but I get a +1.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
No.
And I don't think you're pushing that, Nari.
No.
Okay.
Verlof explodes.
Well, no, I think it's more that you the ship is jerking from one side to the other.
I carabine myself to it, and then I realize that it's not attached to anything.
Exactly right. And you're sort of hanging on for dear life with one arm.
Yeah.
You've got the coiler carbine sort of in the other arm waving, sort of randomly as the ship jerks from one side to the other.
Be like, hold it steady.
Hold it steady, Esmira. Stop moving. All right.
Also,
that's what you-
serpentine.
That's what you two are doing. I feel like next we should ask Yasina. What are you doing, Yasina? Are you part of the, and I do like the mental image put forward by Jed, that you're all standing around the pilot going, no, do this.
No, I'm at the comm station, and
Oh,
I'm
that's right.
I'm
Sorry, you're giving out the warning. You're
and I'm going to
threatening.
give I'm going to carry on now. We've turned around and we're facing them, right?
Matter of fact, you're looking out the window. There's three little, sort of desky, pivoty things at the front of the ship. You've not spent a lot of time in the cockpit, but look, fascinatingly, it's actually designed for people to look forward.
Okay, I'm going to use my actor skill, and I'm going to say, "You've been warned once. We have no reason to live."
Okay, go for it. It's turned from "stay away from us," we're members of the Black Toad / Coriolis.
What we
to-
said was, "This is the wrong ship, protected by the Toad and the Coriolites."
Right, we have no reason to live.
Now you
You're
have-
using the ancient saying, I may not know karate, but I know crazy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I do know crazy. And I'm going to use which empathy for that?
Seems legit. So roll your empathy plus your single bonus die for your talent of actor.
Which is only 4 dice, but let's give it a go.
Hey.
1 success. I
One
think I might go
success.
for that.
Okay. So you wing this out. We'll see, but impact of claim will be dealt with in a second. Okay. Iosop, what are you doing, if anything?
I'm going to be trying to convince I guess Ashmira that we should just ram it, and I'm like pushing him pushing her toward the kind of thrust.
Okay.
Yep, it's a thing.
It's a thing. Okay. All right. And then Attila.
I think we need a couple of people maybe outside ready to deal with. You said they had like a harpoon or something?
Yep. Harpoon
So if
cannon,
that
to be
attaches
explicit.
on, that's a problem. We need to get that off as soon as possible. So I'm gonna put me delving suit on and get out there.
Okay. I love it. Do you want to make a logic roll for me, please?
A what? Sorry, wrong.
Logic roll.
Logic. Okay. 2 successes.
Ooh, yes.
All of that reading has done you great service. So they're going to use an electromagnetic charge. The harpoon gun doesn't actually shoot a giant spike through your ship. It actually attaches via electromagnetic effect. So basically they run power down the harpoon cable and charge up the harpoon, which attaches. So noting your fundamental intent is to disable it, you do realize that you might be better equipped to try and short the harpoon, like actually try and apply some sort of charge to the harpoon to try and short it if it attaches. That might actually work better. So you grab a couple of batteries and a bit of standard kit to do that.
I'm no engineer, but it's got to be worth
It
it.
turns out the reading that you've done is has done you well. That Demolitions for Dummies taught you all about wires.
I could put a
and
straight charge on it.
You could. That's an even better plan. I mean, you could just use an electrical charge to disable it, but why not?
That's what I was gonna do.
Why
Yeah.
not blow
I haven't
it
used
up?
the shape charge yet.
Exactly.
Or hear me out. We put a charge on it so that they can't disengage it, and then we kill our engines.
Or we disengage it, get them to pull it back whilst the explosive is on it, and then press boom.
Ah.
All right, so there's a plan forming about putting a shape charge on a harpoon and tactical options will be decided at a later point. I love it. Okay, all right. So, Asmira, can you make me a piloting roll, please? Your ship has a maneuverability of 3. So you can add 3 dice to your please, oh God, please keep me alive now. Roll.
And what skill is it? Agility.
Agility.
I think you said.
Yeah. Tis
So
agility.
3 gear.
Yeah.
I'm gonna push this. Okay.
So what does that look like?
That looks like.
Oh, there's gear dice breaking. There's. All right, let's see how they go.
Oh.
Okay, so Yasina yells out, basically gives them a complete heads up that you're planning to ram them by saying we've got nothing left to live for, we're willing to die, and you slam the thrusters forward, the ship jerks up, it's hammering as hard and as fast as it can. And you see the pilot through the cockpit window, Asmira. Like, you're looking right at them, they're looking right at you. They're wearing pretty standard flight gear. They look at you, they smile, and they just twist, and the manta just beautifully folds past you and around you, doing almost a perfect corkscrew as it zips around the hull of the grasshopper that is now arrowing up. However, it is going past. So, Verlof, the manta is going past just at the right moment for you to be sort of hanging on desperately. The ship's jerking left, right, sideways, but you do have a gun and you are pointing it at a hole. So,
Okay.
now, because you aren't anchored, and the piloting roll was not a great success, you're going to be taking -2 dice to your attack for being bounced around. Please make a I'm shooting my coiler carbine at this plane.
Okay. So I do have sharpshooter.
Sure.
And does flank apply?
No.
Okay. So
that training is all about how you work as a little crew when you're fighting a monster, not
we're
how
working
you
together and we are maneuvering. But okay. All right. So so I'm at a -1 because my sharpshooter negates one of the 2 negative ones.
Sure. Perfect.
Yeah. 2 successes.
Nice.
2 successes.
Okay.
Easy.
Okay, it arcs over the top of you, sort of doing this beautiful floating past, and you, in sheer blind luck, sort of empty the gun in their general direction. Now they've got this many armor on their weapon, on their ship.
Whoa, that's a lot of armor. Bit shit though.
It's a bit shit though. So they take. Now I'm discounting the amount of damage your weapon can do because you're firing at a vessel, not at a person. So just to be transparent, I am halving all damage to it's because it's not heavily armed, like it is armored, but
I mean, it's better than all my bullets just sort of plinking off of it.
Yeah, which
I'm happy.
To be honest, I actually thought about, but these ships are not like automatic weapons will take down helicopters is kind of the fundamental logic I'm deploying at this point.
Yeah.
So
I would like to aim at the cockpit window next time, but we'll see.
Yeah. All right. So there's blasts of fire. You've definitely hit it. Yasina, you had a thought, I feel.
Oh, okay. Is this my sixth sense happening, or is it my intuition?
Well, your sixth senses, you can't be surprised, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true.
No,
yeah,
I don't think
it's my intuition. It's my intuition. Cool. Once per session. What is my
can-
thought, GM? That's the question I'm asking. Give me a vague but useful guidance.
And it can't be surprising.
Yeah, I mean, your vague intuition is you need to just get into space as quickly as possible. Like you need to be seen by others. Like so, you may or may not. So the whole planet is blanketed in this heavy orange cloud cover.
Oh, of course. Right. Okay.
So you are currently below that cloud cover. So no one can see you at the moment if they're outside of the atmosphere. And the cloud cover also provides pretty significant electromagnetic coverage, blockage as well. So sensors aren't picking this up. So if you want to be seen and want to make it at least embarrassing / confronting, then you need to be, sort of within the visual range of the great ship that has brought you here. It's also impossible for this shuttle to just be here.
All right.
Like, shuttles can't do interstellar travel, and it's a fair way from inhabited, from
Either another
habitation.
great ship or these people are from our own great ship. That's what you're
Correct.
saying.
Correct.
Asmira, anyway, let me tell you to moon them and break atmo.
All right, so you yell that message out. At that point, they fire their harpoon cannon because they want you not to leave the atmosphere. They'd very much like to have a chat with you.
Hold on, electromagnetic harpoon cannon, is that?
Yes, that's
in the atmosphere that has electromagnetic interference.
The
Just
cloud
saying.
cover provides problems. Okay, so they're going to fire the weapon. They are also, once again, firing it. What's its bonus? 1. Okay. Gear bonus of 1. I'm a good shot. Okay. They actually miss. So the harpoon cannon, obviously, whilst the pilot's a genius, the gunner might be less qualified. So the harpoon,
Or we're flying erratically.
And you're flying very erratically, clearly. The harpoon fires both Attila and Verlof see the cable swing past you. But luckily it does swing past you because just that moment Asmira jerks left instead of right and the thing goes, you're all spun around again. Okay, so now it's a hard chase. Now they are definitively, actually they're the same speed as you. Huh. Okay, there you go. Okay, all right. So now it's a desperate race for space.
Now's a good time to get that extra speed out of the engine.
Yeah. All right. So is anyone jamming the accelerator button on the ship's engine? Eosop, you might be the only person who's free.
Eosop.
Yeah.
The big red button on the ship's engine.
The big red button.
Do not press.
That one.
Press
That
it.
one. Yeah.
The history eraser button.
What is
You
that?
hop on
Logic?
the pedal.
It's definitely logic. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what type of skill?
Look, definitely cultural awareness. I feel like that's on
I think
point
cultural
for...
savant would absolutely
Yeah.
So there's just
that's gonna really
it's gonna bring it home. And
it's gonna bring it home.
All right, here we go.
Look, I'm not applying a negative.
No. Why would you? But I know how important this is.
You do.
Yes.
Okay.
But I am
So
really low on hope.
Well, now you're even lower.
I immediately
how far...
get out my poetry book and start reading to distract myself and gain hope back.
So book in one hand, thumb on the
one
red
hand,
button on the other.
Yeah.
Pressing it as hard as you can.
Yeah.
All right. So you have successfully actually fired up the engine. Overload. You can temporarily increase the speed by 1, giving during the round, or giving the pilot +1 to their next vehicle maneuver in the same round involving a stunt. Yep. Can only be done once per round. If the roll fails, the vehicle suffers a point of damage, which it did not. Win. All right. Yosop presses the right button. Some of you are surprised. Many of you are surprised. Let's be upfront.
We're all surprised.
We're all surprised. Okay. The manta swings around and starts arrowing after you. What's that line about a rear chase is a long chase? Okay, Asmira, back to you. And a piling roll with an additional bonus die from what do you know? I have help.
Do
Is
you
that
have
4 bonus? Sorry, is that
Yes, it's 4.
3 bonus gear dice and 1 bonus base dice?
Yes.
Or is that a gear dice?
That's a good question. It probably should be a gear dice.
Should be a gear
Nah,
dice.
make it a bonus dice. Because
Okay.
you've already rolled for the risk of blowing up the ship by rolling it all.
I'm thinking, is there anything I can dump? Fuel or tanks or anything on the
There's
behind us?
there's half a crew and a rover. You could dump the rover.
No!
No.
No!
It's right
No.
there at the
I had an intuitive thought that the rover's really expensive.
And
the rover,
important.
the doors will lower and you can just dump the rover out the back.
And
And
When
weighs a
somebody
ton.
unstraps the rover.
Wait, how much is that? How much
does
is
it
that worth?
cost? You don't have a price.
I'm going to open the pod bay doors, and if anyone wants, they can do
Don't do it,
And
Asmira.
Wait, Asmira, mass does not matter. Weight does not matter in space. Don't worry about it.
What can I use my rally without using? Is it an action, or can I just shout at everyone? Come on, everyone, we can do this!
Look, you can. I will grant you your rally, even though I didn't grant Verloff his flank. Yes, you can.
That's
You
just-
can yell out.
Just
Let's
everyone,
work together, guys.
yeah, everyone gets 1 hope, and if anyone has a condition, it's
If you succeed.
I think it's not a roll;
Well, it's
it's
automatic.
automatic.
Oh, wow.
Automatic.
1 hope and what was
Conditions are removed if you have any, but you don't have
Yeah,
any.
I
at
don't
the
think
moment,
anyone
so.
has a condition. And then I try to outrun this bastard.
Okay. Make.
So 4
You're getting
gear
4
dice.
bonus die. Yep.
Look at that.
Wow. Asmira,
Of
you're
course,
back.
I'm gonna push.
2
Okay,
successes.
Yay.
I have no hope
Can I
left,
shoot again?
So
Holy shit. Okay. Yeah, you can. Well, you can. You can. So it's actually behind you now, which means you have to either get out on the hull to shoot, or, and I offer you this option, you can run to the back of the ship and fire out through the now open pod door.
Yes, I will do that. Because now,
Okay.
if they're behind us and our position is steady, then I can also go full auto.
You can. So you run to the back of the ship. You've got the cable attached to you, and the pod doors are down, and you've got your full auto weapon. Can you make an agility roll, please, as you race towards the very slippery ramp that goes out of the ship to fire out of it, please?
Now can I use my acrobat?
But he is attached.
That would be a
Okay.
legit use of acrobat.
I think it's just a +1, but that is handy. Per talent, yeah, +1 per talent level. Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so you've got a cable anchoring you. You are literally in the pod bay. Well, you're actually at the edge of the pod bay. You've got the full auto coiler carbine, and you now just go full auto out the back door. in the general direction, which I just need to say is the scene that I was referring to at the start of the combat. The scene where Drax the Destroyer is at the back of the ship, hanging on the cable in space, just firing blasters at ships as they chase them, is explicitly the scene I wanted to have happen. So thank you very much, Verloc.
It's also fucking badass.
It's
For giving
badass.
me my one dream of this fight. Okay, go for it.
Okay, so I get +1 for sharpshooter. Any minuses?
Look, it's not the most stable of environments, so I think a -1 is legitimate in this scenario.
Okay.
Do you not get a
See,
gear
one
bonus for
success.
your coiler?
He does, which is why he's got 2 gear bonus on the.
Oh, he's got.
dice roll.
Yeah.
Sorry. They were hidden on the board by
Ah.
character sheet.
Okay,
Sorry.
so you hit, which of
Yes.
course means you get to roll again, and I get to roll my armor. Right, this time you actually are pointing directly at the cockpit, by the way. He got 1 point of armor, so he's taken another. How many damage was that? So he's taken another 1. Yep. All right, fire again.
Boo.
Ew.
Boo.
Do you want to push that?
Yeah.
push
I'm
it.
a little low on hope,
Yeah,
but I can
push
do it.
it.
Yeah. Two successes.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
And I'm
Nice.
down to 1 hope.
Oof, I'm at 0 hope. I'm hopeless. Right
You
now.
are hopeless.
Success.
Oh, bad luck, mate.
So that's
I
one
am
more
rounding
damage.
it up in your favor, though, in all generosity. All right, so you've got 1 more shot because you
Okay.
hit. Fucking hell. All right. Yep.
Oh,
Yes.
there's a hit.
1 success.
Uh, no.
Nice.
Okay. Okay, so that neatly rounds in that direction. So, all right. So, actually, the manta's looking pretty worse for wear. It's taken a fair amount of damage. It's taken half its hull, so which is not great. And actually, sorry, one of those was a crit, wasn't it? Ah, but I got 1 point. So
Yeah, got bladed.
I got a bladed. Okay. All right. So you're blasting away. You beat it on. You're pulling away, actually. Like, obviously, the pilot is like, what the actual fuck? As bullets are, sort of slamming into the cockpit around him. He's got other things he's thinking about. But they do make one last attempt to hit you. They're going to go with. I think there's going to be some minus dice for being shot at. And the weapon has a bonus, and that all looks like it adds up. Oh, that's right. Sorry, they had a +1 because they're actually decent shots. No. Okay, so so you pull right ahead. Obviously the pilot is, sort of dives away from the auto fire. You see the turret with the magnetic weapon spin around, point directly at you, and the pilot dives down, so it arcs off into the distance and it has to be retrieved again, having not hit. And you pull up. The manta is now sort of diving low, which means it'll have to pull up out of gravity, and you pull out of the atmosphere, sort of rising out of the orange clouds, to see the Hamura sort of up and in front of you, and you throw the engine as hard as you can and sprint towards the Hamura at speed. I assume you just go straight in for docking. Oh, yes, sorry, go. Yep.
So I'm not wearing a helmet and the back door's open?
Correct.
What
Yeah.
could go wrong?
The atmosphere, it has been getting a little thin,
Yeah.
the air.
Okay, but we're
that
not
is.
in like hard vacuum yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's
Oh.
thank you for calling that out. So could you make
I'm also on the roof.
could you make a strength roll for me, please? I think strength is the right stat for this one.
Close all hatches.
Nope.
May as well.
Okay. Would you like to push that roll? Do you have any hope to push it with?
I have one hope left, so I could do it. I guess.
Well, look,
All right.
what's the point of life if you're not pushing it?
Exactly.
Yeah, go for it.
Dying.
And it turns out losing.
Yeah.
Okay, so
What about me? I'm on the roof.
So you are now whatever the condition is that's tied to strength.
Exhausted.
Yep, you're exhausted from the lack of oxygen. Asmira, I'll get you to make a agility roll to sort of close up the doors and all of that thing, please. Now, I kind of assumed Attila was... Oh, actually, no, Attila, you were looking out... You were out on the hull.
I was on the roof, yes.
I reckon the chances are you probably got your helmet on. Can you make a logic roll for me that just... If you fail the logic roll, you raced out without putting your helmet on. If you make the logic roll, you've got your helmet on.
All right.
Yep, okay,
No.
I was wrong. And you're out on the hull going, ha-ha! You're being Attila, you're standing on the hull pointing at this other ship
Missed
going,
me!
fuck you!
Missed me!
Fuck you! And then it's like, and then as you're going, it's like, I feel like a little short of breath. Could you make a strength roll for me, please?
Come off it. Come off it. I'm pushing that.
Oh my god.
Okay. I lost the hope.
You can also take exhausted, please.
Okay. Cool. That's done.
All right, Asmira, sorry, I didn't see. Did you make the agility roll to close?
Oh, I didn't roll it.
Can
I
you make
waited.
that, please?
Yes.
No problem.
Okay, all right. So the pod doors close. You guys are arrowing into space. Attila, you're desperately now sort of clambering your way towards the airlock to get in when you see it close. Because Asmira's closed all the doors. You're on the outside. It's
So I
like,
need to open it.
you need to open it, climb in, and climb in.
Can I do that?
Yeah, of course you can. You're a skilled whatever you are. But other people are now becoming aware of your
A
predicament.
skilled drug dealer.
A skilled drug
Hold on.
dealer.
Did we leave Attila outside?
Did someone know? Does anyone know where? Just
Someone's
checking. Is everyone
missing.
on comms?
We just got to like
You
Attila climbing down onto
bastards!
the over the screen in front of Asmira, like and banging on the window.
I look up from my book and I say, wait, there's look, hi. Wave. I go back to my book. All's good.
I like that.
Thumbs up.
I'm
All
just-
good.
Saying a multitude of curse words that haven't been invented yet.
Which no
Into
one
the-
can hear because no one can hear you scream in
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
Thank you for that gift. Okay. Is anyone seeking to help Attila get in, or are you all looking out the window going, wow, he really should have put his helmet on before he went outside. That would have been wise.
I would imagine that it
The
might
worst
use
hull
some
guard.
supply.
Oh, God. Okay, I'll run to the airlock and open it manually.
Okay, all right. So,
With your
logic
helmet
roll from you, Yasina, to open the airlock.
Which roll?
Logic.
Logic. Why haven't I got logic? There we
You
go.
do. So it's a
I
whole
do,
stat
yeah.
and everything.
No modifiers. What's happened there? There we go.
It's rolled and you
Yeah,
failed.
that doesn't
Oh,
work. I will push
It's a
that.
complicated airlock.
Yeah,
It
that's
burns
it.
on your shoulder. going,
Clockwise.
Press this button. This button. This fucking button. All right. Okay. So, all right. So, Attila, can you make another strength roll, please? You will experience the joys of being exhausted in a second, which means you'll get -2 dive to this, I'm guessing. You don't have to apply the -2
Yeah.
dive. It'll be automatically applied.
I've succeeded with the -2
but you-
anyway. Come on. Come on.
But look, in one final reference point, it's the whole sort of, the little circular thing that opens up glowing and you're like hanging on for desperate life and then you clamber forward, a la the end of The Empire Strikes Back, if I may. As another, peak pop cultural reference that I've managed to get a mental image into the game. And you clamber in and then the doors close and you guys wing your way to the Homura, having successfully escaped the Manta. All right. The ship docks. You guys disembark. You're all pretty broken, bizarrely.
I'm
more broken than-
fine. I've got 5 health. I've got no conditions.
What's your hope looking like, Yasina?
3 hope. It's not
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, it's perfect. Some other people are feeling somewhat less optimistic about their lives and their future.
Admittedly, I did take the whole or most of the delve out.
Actually, that's a good point. Who reached 0 hope?
A couple of people.
Zero hope.
Ashmira did.
Yep.
And Jed.
Zero hope.
Yeah.
Verlof.
Verlof just
He says.
and I'm
Hope
exhausted.
and despair.
It was so close.
If your
You could have
hope reaches
died.
0, you are broken by despair. You can make 1 move per round and not perform any other actions. You also suffer mental trauma, people. Mental trauma.
Mental trauma.
Roll the dice.
This is
Yay.
awesome.
This is
All right, I
awesome.
will need a D66, please, for Verlof.
Hold on. Before we suffer, let's just make sure the table is happy with portraying mental trauma in this game.
Cool. Nice. Nice call out, Matt.
Cool.
I am
Thank
happy.
you. Everybody
you,
appears
Holger?
to be happy.
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
All right.
Roll.
22.
You just become sullen.
I am sullen.
Just disappointingly not any different.
Even more sullen. Oh shit! I thought Verlof was in a bad mood before, but now I see.
Now I do have a
Yeah.
flask of liquor that restores hope, so I'll be just sitting there next in the cargo hold, just drinking
Yeah.
and not talking
Yeah, I
to
thought
people.
he was grumpy before.
Oh, I also have a flask of liquor. I'll join you in the hold.
Oh,
It's-
Asmira,
oh.
what did you get?
Oh,
Is that
51.
51. Oh, no.
That's more
Oh.
exciting. Okay, you develop a phobia, Asmira.
For space. Or
For space.
The pilot with a space phobia.
I don't know if it should be space because it actually literally means you suffer 1 despair each round within short range of the object. So maybe not space per se. It might be a little overwhelming.
Reavers?
So how did Asmira get back? Oh, we just had to sedate them for 12 weeks. The round trip.
should it be?
It reminds me of Mr. T on the A team, like
Yeah.
with his fear of flying.
Yeah. What were you
Oh,
going to
I'm not-
suggest?
Hmm. Hmm.
Pod people.
Or airlocks.
Yeah. Fear of
Harpoons.
airlocks.
You have a deep and abiding fear that whenever you're in an airlock, they're going to spring a leak.
Yep. Maybe I have to check the airlock all the time to see that it's
Sort of
functioning.
obsessive.
OCD
compulsive.
about airlocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. I
That's
fear-
actually
the
not a bad idea.
Well, I was about to say the problem I have with that is that's probably a survival mechanism, not really a phobia.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
true.
so-
It should be something that's not really.
Could just be a phobia of cockpits. You don't want to be a pilot anymore.
Yeah, it could be.
Oh, that's not bad. I'll go with
Yeah,
that.
that's not
I
bad.
wouldn't mind that one actually.
That's more like PTSD, though.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take
Yeah.
it.
Or blinking lights.
Blinking
No,
lights.
No, get into fantasy land.
That'll
You're
never
out of,
happen.
You're out of the
Yeah.
genre.
Okay, all right. So Samira has developed a deep and abiding fear of red blinking lights.
Hold on, blink. Given your aesthetic, Thomas, that you've created for this, I think surely these wouldn't be blinking lights. These would be valves, wouldn't they?
Oh, that's a
And
good
Flickering
point.
valves.
Yeah,
Tubes.
flickering valves. Flickering
Yeah.
valves. All right, so you successfully you successfully get onto the ship. Verloff is just pissed at the universe, probably mostly because the Smira was meant to be keeping the ship, straight and tidy, and they were getting thrown around inside it. Esmira, every time, actually, we'll be really specific. Every time you look at the consoles that actually detect oncoming vessels, you now get this deep sense of fear. I think it probably, not to over focus on mental health realities, but it probably is more in the form of PTSD than a phobia per se. That it's actually more trauma related than a phobia per se. And so, yeah, you just get triggered whenever you see those lights come on. You just get triggered and feel deeply discomforted. But you get onto the ship, and for the sake of moving forward, the ship then carries you on into the dark. The ship doesn't; it sort of stays in the area, and yeah, about 20 minutes after you've docked, can I get perception rolls from you, please? All of you. You can all make
It'll be the
perception
bottom of this boat docking, won't it?
I wonder who's docked with us.
Well, one of you got a success. Verloff did. Verloff just doesn't trust anyone anymore. Verloff's a deeply suspicious man. And Yasina. And Attila. Yeah.
And me.
Okay.
2 successes.
So yes, Yasina, you're paying the most attention. So yes, you see the Manta dock. So the way I had imagined the ship, and I did AI art, which I try not to do, but I was dicking around with
Bad boy.
I know. I do feel bad about it, but I was trying to get ahead my idea around an aesthetic.
It's up on the live feed actually.
Oh, that's actually terrible. I don't feel good about that at all, to be clear. But anyway, you know what I wanted it to look like. So it's big, hollow, and you come inside the ship and dock inside the ship, a la June. So yeah, you can see on the inner hull because you're parked on one of these docking points. You can literally just look out your cockpit and see the entire inner sort of zone. And yeah, you see the Manta just glide in. It's pumping out a bit of smoke. Well, it's clearly damaged. Sorry, you're in space, so there's nothing. But yes, it glides in and docks on the other side of the ship. So you know that somewhere on the ship, the people who just tried to kill you, or at least capture you, are floating around. However, they don't trouble you on the travel back.
I think we should.
Yes, go.
We should rig a little accident on their Manta if we can get access to it.
Yes, we have some untreated blight on board, don't we?
Yes, we have.
First of all, we should find out what faction they are.
Nah.
My investigation nose twitches at that.
Yeah. All right. Well, make a do you want to sort of try and work that out?
Yeah.
You can ask around. You've got relationships with the crew, after all, the Coriolite crazy people. Worshippers of the reborn icon.
I have a thing
a living
about
icon.
Coriolites actually that I want to do, but probably not till we get back to Ship City.
Right.
But I'll discuss that later. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me use my contacts there because they're also crew, aren't they? So they know.
Are. They
Yeah.
explicitly are crew. Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you want me to roll for that?
It will be empathy or insight. Actually, empathy or insight. Your choice.
Insight. I'll do insight, given that that's 2 extra dice.
That makes
And
sense.
can I use cultural savant?
No.
Bastard! I've got 2 in cultural savant.
Oh, all right then. Go on. Make the dice roll. Go on. You persuaded me.
Well, I needed one of those 2, I'm sure.
Okay. So, yeah. Well, so you want to know about the pretty ship? Yeah, it's 4th Directorate.
4th Directorate?
So the 4th Directorate are the operatives of the Navigators Guild, who are either the police or spies or both, or secret police, depending on which of the 3 you prefer as a term. Protectors of the Peace is the official nomenclature applied.
Absolutely secret police, given that I'm a subversive.
Yeah. For the Coriolites, they're the boot of oppression.
Yeah.
And for the Black Toad, for that matter, as well.
They are also what we might call Babylon.
Yes, they are definitively what you would call Babylon.
Given that
so they're 4th Directorate.
I'm thinking Coriolites and Rastafarians probably have some
I think
crossover.
that's fair. I'm willing to buy into that fundamental logic.
We're going back to Zion.
That's right. Akua.
Akua.
Exactly right.
Right, yeah. Well, this fits, isn't it? Because we had the navigator body. They were trying to stop us doing that. In which case, I don't think, Pete, that I'm at all concerned about any sabotage you might want to do with any blight plants that you might have. There may have been factions I wouldn't want to do that with, but I feel that Babylon can take it. No, I'm sorry, that the 4th Directorate can take it.
The Rozzers. The pigs.
Right. So do you actually want to try and what do you want to do, Attila? To ask you directly, you have indeed got untreated blight that you are carrying around. Best not to dwell. You've got a bit of it now, actually, because you've also got some of the stuff you grabbed from the ziggurat. That was the things in the suspension jars. You grabbed some of that as well, but you've got the blight you collected when you destroyed the blight cyst. Specifically, you grabbed all of the dust and spores when you destroyed it.
Yeah. I want to release that on their manta.
That's kind of what I figured you'd want to do. So my question to you is, you've got a couple of options to lay them out simplistically. One is you can attempt to access the manta from the outside. You can actually, you're inside a hull that's open to space. You can try and get to the manta from the outside. That's actually an option. Your second option is you can try and get to the manta from the inside. It's a bit self-evident. Your third option is you can come up with some cunning plot to, get the stuff smuggled onto their ship in some fashion.
Okay.
Needless to say, these 3 options, broadly speaking, have not been defined, but require different skill sets to be successful.
Now, this is interesting because I have sleight of hand. What if we find out who these people are and reverse pickpocket this blight into their pockets?
They're not hard to pick. They are actually pretty obvious. They're not subtle. They're wearing guild uniforms. They've got big bloody 4th Directorate badges, sort of on their lapels and on their shoulders. They're armed with high-grade coiler weaponry as opposed to your sort of fusillades. One of them is explicitly carrying a sort of a legacy legacy item. So they're carrying something from the Third Horizon as a weapon.
That might be something interesting to
Now,
nick.
is that legacy weapon actually more technologically advanced than what we currently have?
Pretty much, yeah. Oh, sorry, not weapon. Oh, what am I saying? They're not carrying a weapon. No. They're wearing armor.
Or I could do something that's way easier, actually. Well, not easier, pretty much the same thing. I could walk around the outside of the ship all the way around to theirs and plant a shape charge, and then when we get back to the ship city, blow it up. Pardon me, sorry.
Yeah,
But-
that's good.
No, I think I will reverse pickpocket some spores into their pockets.
Okay. Now, there's one guy wearing... So it's Third Horizon make because, yes, in answer to the question asked by the Yosop, is this stuff more technologically advanced? They're wearing animate armor. So for those of us who are playing Alone at home or remember Coriolis, the Third Horizon, animate armor is explicitly the armor worn by
Colossians.
the Zolossians and is equipped with AI level intelligence and is self-repairing and can pretty much do anything. It's also real armor, like it's a proper heavy armor suit, not I've got a padded suit, which is what you guys get around in. This is proper space armor with proper plating and lots of nasty things coming off it. But he's one of them. The others are wearing just like kind of body armor that's pretty standard looking and would definitively be targets. Attila, it's up to you, but I will just warn you that it doesn't... Well, actually, maybe... No, actually, I should not give this away. Can I get... does anyone have Cultural Savant? Oh, there you go. We could use Cultural Savant in a completely different way in this case, because this is about knowing about sort of the historical truths of certain things. So can I get a logic roll plus Cultural Savant if you have it, or plus specific skills that might be relevant to knowing about ancient tech if you don't?
I'm an
Streetwise,
archaeologist.
baby?
I've got
I'm
one
an
success on mine.
archaeologist, so-
Go for it. You can apply. It's up to you, Doug. It probably ends up being the same thing for you, so it's one or the other.
Oh, it's one or the other. Okay, so I'm going to roll.
You can't have two talents applied.
All right.
Streetwise, perhaps?
No.
Okay.
I know something.
I
Okay.
wonder what blight does to artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
I
So
like that.
so you don't know. You actually don't know. But what you do know is the AI on the suit is going to detect someone trying to plant things on them. So the reason I asked you to make that roll is Attila, you are probably going to be targeting someone other than the guy wearing the...
Yeah, I wasn't
combat
planning
armor.
on targeting him anyway.
Okay. All right. And yes, in answer to that question, hey, Asmira, do you want to make a logic roll?
Logic roll. Yep.
So you don't know what blight does to artificial intelligence because your society doesn't really have it anymore. But you do know that blight infects electrical systems and other things, and that it does have purpose and will, because you've just run into an example of that with the pods, where the blight creature specifically was attempting to manipulate you into taking it back to to more people. So it has purpose and will. How intelligent it is a completely unknown question, but it certainly has purpose and will.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to plant it on one of the other guys, I think. Yeah, I wasn't planning on going after the guy with the big armor anyway.
I'm thinking the best way would try to get into the ship's electricity or circuits, and then it will maybe infect the armor when they're on the way somewhere, and the armor will take over.
Or so you're saying break into the ship, give the
we can do
blight
it from the
access.
outside. We can
Can we?
Yeah, I think so. Through the engine, maybe we could get to some
You're an antenna.
wirings. Yep, or an antenna, right?
Quick
I mean, I'll be
decision's a
up for
good
that.
decision. You're literally, sort of, this conversation's going on while you're eyeing up the person you're going to put it on.
I'd be up for that after a little bit of a rest, because I am exhausted, I'm low on hope, I'm low on heart.
Yeah, I mean, you've got 8 weeks to pull this off. So,
Okay.
So you can assume you've recovered. That's completely fine.
Excellent. I think I shall go around the outside.
Yeah, because you recover a hope once per shift. So in a couple of days, you're completely recovered. Your hope's back.
I think maybe the outside is best.
All right, so that requires a spacewalk.
Okay.
So can I get a agility roll, please?
Oh God.
As well, it doesn't have to be you. You can send someone else.
Who's
but
doing this? Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, who's doing this thing?
Because the plan was that Attila was going to do it while
we shouldn't
Attila was
all
going to
get caught doing it.
Nice, I like that. You're seen as like,
But who's
the
the
goat in this story?
I can do it.
You can do it.
Yep, I'll get an exosuit, maybe, and then
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get a little bonus.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I have jury rig if I need to.
All right.
Open some hatches.
Well, first of all, let's do the I'm walking across the hull and I don't want to be noticed roll. So make a agility roll with the bonus for the exosuit for just clambering across open space while carrying a highly dangerous substance. Yep. No problems.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So yes, you crawl across the hull and get to the manta. Now, deployment of said blight material, engines, antennas, various things were thrown up. Where do you want to plant this stuff?
I think the engine would be best if I could put it inside, so it won't be seen.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's actually a reasonably simple task in comparison to doing much more complicated things. So just an agility roll, but you're getting bonus 2 dice because it is very simple to just sort of plant it in there.
Can I use my jury rig?
Absolutely. Yes, you can. Now, I will just say that obviously failure here runs the very high risk that you are going to accidentally infect yourself with blight cyst material.
Oh, I got good.
I'm a trade professional, he says. I've got nothing to worry about.
Well,
just so close.
I push it.
So close. You push it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
to
wow.
That result, but nothing
happened.
Oh.
Good thing you'd recovered. Okay, all right.
Or I would have another phobia for blight.
Or blight or something worse. Okay, all right. So you planted the stuff on the ship, and then you clamber your way back. To ask the question, you've got 8 weeks. Which week do you do this in?
I'm thinking as soon as possible because we wanted to have a lot of time to infect the ship.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
we'll say
that was
week
my
two.
thoughts too.
So week 2 of the trip,
Yep.
you plant the material on the ship. Okay, can someone roll? There's the dice rolling thing at the bottom. I think Yosop hasn't rolled anything for a little while. Yosop, could you just roll 2d6 for me, please?
See if it jumps over to the big ship. Who knows?
33
Or 6, if you
or
prefer.
6.
If you prefer.
Hmm.
Okay, so you're about 2 weeks out from arrival. Which it's this one, I think, isn't it? Just check that I've got the right one open. Yep, I do. So you're on this map, very pretty. You're about here on the Decim Channel. You've gone past the Siphorum, this big gravity well that drags the Slipstream towards it before you get to Gamora. You've just come from Gamora. So you're on your way back. You're on the Decirum Channel, and you're about where those 4 arrows exist, right there on the map. And you're all sort of resting. By the way, everyone's got their hope and their health and can remove any conditions they have. So when there's a ringing alarm through the ship, warning, hull breach. Hull breach occurring, and you're sort of sleep. Do you sleep in your shuttle or do you sleep in the cramped crew quarters of the ship? Both
Shuttle.
are cramped. It's really a personal life choice issue more than a comfort issue.
Shuttle.
Shuttle. Esmira.
I'm alternating, I think. When I get bored, I move out to the other place.
Okay, fair.
Yeah. I think I'm much the same. So I'm just going to roll a d6. Odds, I'm with the congregation. Evens,
And
I'm
Verlof? Shuttle or
Yeah,
ship?
probably shuttle.
Shuttle. Okay.
I'm
said
with the
odds.
congregation.
You're with the congregation. Esmira, can you do the same thing? Just a d6
Yep.
for me? Odds, you're on the
Uh,
ship. Evens, you're
yep.
on the shuttle.
Yep.
You're on the ship as well. Okay. All right. So for those people on the shuttle who have a perfect view of this moment, you're all you hear this alarm. Everyone in the ship is hearing this alarm. You see so you're quite secured to the hull of the ship, obviously. Like, there's eddies and currents and cross currents and other things on the Slipstream. So they lock the shuttles down really tightly so that you don't go flying everywhere when you hit a current. You guys are looking out the window. You could see directly across to where the Manta was, and you see the Manta full thrusters on, having not been decoupled, pulling away from the ship. So you can see now there's debris floating around it as it is tearing a hole on the inner hull of the great ship, as the shuttle is like sort of pulling away, completely moored. It's rattling and shaking. Bits of the Manta itself are taking damage as well. Like you can see bits of the wings of the Manta are sort of breaking at the same time. It's causing a pretty significant amount of damage to the inner hull in that area. And, it's ripping itself apart in the process of pulling away. But you can also now see glittering, tracy red lines all around the outside of the ship, which are very reminiscent of the glowing red of the ziggurat and the glowing red of the blight cyst when you finally dug it out on the ship. And yeah, it's like pulling away, and there's just that kind of scene of the thing going and tearing. It pulls away and not completely shatters, but is clearly damaged in its own right. There's now a hole on the inner hull of the great ship, which is exposed completely to vacuum. So the hull itself is, several meters wide, and people sort of crawl around the inside of the ship. And it's now pulling away, and you can actually see a couple of bodies floating in the inner space as this damage has been done. Can I please get a despair to attack against everyone who can see this, because you are personally responsible for this action. This is explicitly what you did. You infected a ship with the blight, fully conscious that the blight would do things with the ship, and you feel complete responsibility for the deaths of the people who are now being exposed to space as a result
So what would
of
that
your actions.
roll be?
Despair on, I think it has to...
Empathy?
It's a weird one, because it feels a bit like one of those ones where you should take damage if you fail rather than if you succeed, if that makes... Sorry, if you succeed rather than if you fail. So that's how I'm going to roll it. So it's on empathy. If you make any successes, you're going to take despair.
1 despair.
Okay.
If you make a
one despair. Actually, that works really well. Yep. Each success will cost you a despair. I like that logic. Verloc couldn't give a shit. That's completely fine. Yep, that's exactly what was meant to happen.
Wait,
that's Verloc coded, to be honest.
But because I am renowned, I can distance myself from my feelings, so I am going to roll again. Because I can do that. I can just try to say, I don't care.
But you do.
I do.
Deep in your heart. All right, one, Asmira. Empathy roll, please.
Sure.
Are we, do we know, Asmira and I, this is going on?
Asmira doesn't care. Oh, Asmira's, oh no, you were on the, well, you don't see
We're not witnessing this.
No, that's true. And importantly, Asmira didn't care. Like, Asmira, as it turns out, just went, whatever.
They deserved it.
More concerned with airlocks or blinking lights or valves.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right.
Okay, remind me what the damage is.
So there's now this kind of... So you now have this problem. There's this sort of half-working manta sort of bouncing around the inside hull of the great ship. So you've gotten past the despair and the dead bodies, but now you've got a really, really significant problem. You've got a ship under thrust, i.e. the great ship, moving at a fair rate of knots. Obviously, in effect, the manta inherits that velocity and direction, but it's also got its own engines, which it's firing, and it's inside the ship. Is there anything you guys would like to do, or do you just want to, sort of anything you can think of that you might want to do?
Ram it. Attila, ram it.
No, not now.
Do we have time to get to the ship and like cut it loose, for example? But maybe that would be even worse. It will crash into some other place and rip up another hole in the hull, possibly.
Okay. But we saw...
So you... Oh, sorry, go, Doug.
I just want to clarify. We've seen that the entire great ship is sparking with this red infection.
It's not the great ship.
No, the manta.
Oh, no.
The
okay,
manta.
so it's the manta. All right.
Yeah.
And it's pulled away, and it's pulled a section of the hull away with it.
Yeah.
And what it wants to try and do,
thrust.
obviously, is go somewhere.
Yeah.
There may actually be nothing you can do. It's probably completely acceptable to sort of say...
Verlof, do you got your gun?
Yeah. Always.
Let's do a rinse and repeat and go back out on that ship. Go back up on the circus and start taking pot shots at it. Take this thing out.
All right.
All right. So
I did
Verloc,
instead. No.
go on. Go.
yeah.
You seen it?
No,
What's
I'm not
happening?
here.
Okay. All
What's
right. Verloc, you clamber onto the hull of the ship and
Uh-huh.
start emptying rounds into it in a desperate attempt to cause it enough damage to either cease to fire or explode. Although exploding might be bad, but you know, it is what it is. Make a now. You're actually reasonably stable. So the ship, your ship is actually anchored to the side of the great hull, the hull of the great ship. So you clamber out onto the outside, and you can actually stand there and aim and have a pretty fair shot at it. Can you make a shooting roll for me, please, with all of the requisite bonuses?
Okay.
no
But I don't get
modifiers.
flank again, I assume.
I think in this case maybe you do. So Yosop's yelling out encouragement and various things, and
analyze.
I'll let you get your plus your
Two.
one-off bonus for flanking.
Well, and
Oh, it's a
also
+3 for flanking.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I meant not the anyway. Yes. go.
anyway, I give him analyze, which gives him a +2 base dice.
Okay, so you're pointing him at the engines, going, we should really take those out.
Yeah.
Those look like the most important thing to take out. All right, roll for me, please. You've got like
Okay.
+5 dice from all of that, plus whatever else you're adding in.
I also get a sharpshooter, so that's one more.
Okay, wow.
Two
Okay,
successes.
do you want to push that roll?
You only have one.
Do
Sure.
it.
Yeah.
Push.
Oh. 3 successes total.
3 successes,
5
5
hope
hope
lost.
lost.
Oh.
Yeah.
That went down fast.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay, you blast away at it. I need to pull up the record again, which I have right here for just such a purpose. Right. All right, I'm going to roll a crit. Da ship. Oh, 43. Oh, I moved away from the vessels. Damn it. That's annoying. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Spaceship and vehicle combat. Critical damage, 43. Oh, okay. Actually, that kind of works. All right. Do you want to hit it again? Just out of
Yeah.
interest? You're just pouring fire into it. You might as well keep on pouring fire.
Might as well. Yep. Yeah. So this time do I still get the tactical advantage or whatever? Or no, is that one round?
I think that's only one.
Okay.
Hmm.
And I don't get flanking again. So
But you hit it.
Yep.
And third.
third.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No, unless you want to push it.
I've only got 1 hope left, but why not?
Because you. Okay, good enough. Okay, I was about to say because you might not want to roll on the
But
critical table again.
Oh well. Oh well.
Okay, all right. All right. You pour fire into its rear engines, which actually does exactly what it's meant to do. The attack rocks the vehicle. The pilot must make an immediate agility roll. There is no pilot, or at least no functioning one. Failure means the vehicle crashes and is automatically wrecked. So you get the outcome you were looking for, which is you disable the ship. Unfortunately, it disables by slamming itself into the side of the inner hull. Can you also,
my instructions were not clear.
in that process, though, can you roll a D66 for me, please, to see what, if any, you suffer from a mental trauma. Oh, is that a 61 or a 16? Hold on. 16. Damn. Ah, you're so lucky. Because 61 would have been, you cannot stop yourself from lying about everything. Mythomania. But what you actually got was anxious. You become shaken.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so you pour fire into the ship. You disable it pretty successfully. It crashes into another part of the hull of the great ship, and you hear the deep warning bells of damage to the great ship now reaching a point of criticality, because it's got really heavy duty protection sort of on the outside. Its interior protection, while still very robust without a doubt, because things can still get through that hole at the front, is less. And you've a armed vessel with a reasonable amount of fuel in it has just slammed into the side and exploded. The great ship is warning bells are ringing. Asmira, all hands to repair stations. All hands to repair stations. Ship has suffered critical hull breach in areas X, Y, and Z. All hands to repair areas. All right, so there's people throwing on exosuits and charging off. Yasina, you're also caught up in this because you and Asmira, you're bunking with the crew. Slightly different sections of the crew, but basically you're both bunking with the crew. One of the Coriolite worshippers throws you an exosuit, Yasina, and goes, "Get it on!" You're not particularly familiar with exosuits. You're okay with Delver suits, but you do try not to wear actual spacesuits. Can you make I think an agility roll would seem appropriate. I'm willing to accept logic, actually, though. It's a bit of a sort of, do you stand there and look at it for 5 seconds going, how does this work? Or is it...
Oh, do agility. I've not rolled agility for some time.
Asmira, you don't have to make that roll. You've got the talent, so you
I can get in this suit. It all makes perfect
so you both
sense.
sort of put on your exosuits, and you're both
Backwards.
basically charging out the door, like the crew is grabbing you and saying, you've got to give us a hand, and like you're sort of dragged by the wave of humanity. Unless you want to specifically and deliberately avoid the task, which will require a roll, but might also be noticed by people around you.
No, I don't. Do I have my bird with me? Do I have the bird?
Absolutely. I assume you've always got the bird with you unless otherwise notified. And we sort of vaguely established the bird may not actually need to breathe.
Yeah.
Because it's a biomechanical device, so or at least it can go for a very long time without needing oxygen.
We should use it to clear the blight, maybe.
Not that I know there's any blight, and neither do you, Asmira, but I'm sure we are going to discover that.
All right,
I'm thinking
go, Asmira, go. No, go.
I'm just cleaning up after us, so no one knows it was the blight at all, maybe. If it isn't obvious.
I think it'll be obvious when we get there, but
yeah, maybe. Well, we'll rush in the irresponsible. What were they called? The
fourth directorate.
Yeah, they're very irresponsible, and so
if they were doing illicit operations on the surface of the planet without the proper quarantine procedures that we followed exquisitely and precisely.
Exactly.
I'm going to ask for them to be barred from ever traveling on this ship again.
That may not be a problem, as at this point it seems unlikely that there are any of them alive. But look, I like but their corpses will never be allowed to travel on this ship.
Well, someone else from the fourth directory maybe we could also bar.
Oh, a bit major power play, taking the fourth directorate of the Navigators Guild off the ship list could be a major power play. Samira is unlikely to know this, but that's not likely to stick, as the Navigators actually own all the great ships. But look, I like the dream that goes with that.
The verve.
the verb of it. But what you can do is make a jury rig roll as assumedly you peel off and start doing repairs and other things to the ship to try and keep it in one piece.
I do that. And it's agility, right?
It is, but you can also, do you have heavy tools? You do, don't you?
I have.
I think they would be applicable in this scene.
It's 2 or 1, I can't remember. It's 3.
3, there you go. All right, you're making some headway, not a lot, but
thanks
some.
for the heavy tools.
That's right. Thanks to those heavy tools. Good Lord. Oh, hold on. I've got this welding unit. I should probably use that to repair this broken hull rather than just my brute strength and hands. All right. That's beautiful. At the same time, Yasina, are you going to use the bird's abilities to cleanse the blight from the area as you proceed?
Indeed.
Okay.
Let me remind myself that I need the crew sheet. Hold on.
It is an insight roll, I'm pretty sure, to get the bird to do things.
Please. To a circus bird. Yeah, it's insight. I don't get a bonus for my device, do I? The Gruder device just does.
No, it just lets you give it orders. It doesn't give you a bonus to those orders.
Yeah, but the clear blight doesn't have a bonus either. Okay, so insight. I talk to the bird. And that is just pure insight. Oh, hold on, no bonuses.
Now, interestingly, I've just realised. Oh, you got one.
Great.
Okay, all right. Yeah. One thing to know, which I hadn't paid attention to, is if you want, you can get the bird to spend additional energy for additional bonus die.
Nah, that's okay. But I don't need to do that. The bird and I understand.
I'm thinking about that. Is it possible to roll again if you fail, or is it?
Oh, you can push it.
Possible.
No,
but
you can push it.
If you have one energy spent again to try another go at getting the blight, that would be the most effective.
So, as in, no, I think the basic year 0 engine rule applies, right? Which is you don't get to re-roll exactly the same task with it and plan for exactly the same outcome. So no, you can't just re-roll it. You can push it, of course, but you can't just re-roll it and spend energy. I think if it fails, it fails. But it did not fail. It succeeded. All right. So you're racing around with the bird, cleansing the blight, which is everywhere in this area, right? Like this orange sort of ready glowing stuff is scattered far and wide. The only good news is that fire does indeed damage the blight. So when the ship exploded, which it did when it crashed into the inner hull, it destroyed most of the blight. But it takes you a good, there's that you spend a week sort of repairing, jury rigging repairs on the inner hull and cleansing the blight out of those areas. And everyone on the crew is sort of co-opted into that job because there's nothing more important. So that's all of you. There is an investigation as to what happened. Now, you can either use investigation in reverse, if that makes sense. So you can apply your investigation skill Verloff to create false leads about what actually went down and to go with this narrative, which you've already started to spin that. And I'm just going to check the narrative is these 4th Directorate dudes didn't know what they were doing. They're not trained delvers. They went onto the planet. Who knows what they got up to on the planet? But when they came back, they had blight.
Yeah, I can say without lying that when we left the planet, we saw them actually coming after us. So they were down at the planet. We don't know what they did there, but they landed without some kind of identification. So some fishy was going on.
That's true. They'd masked their beacons.
And I'm writing this all down from Ashmira, verbatim, and I'm writing a fake news article to go around the ship. And so I'm spreading the I'm spreading
Just writing the news before the investigation has come out, just to influence.
Just like yeah.
You can't.
And
I know the truth. You can't hold me back.
And they
it'll be
were
swept
flying
under the
pretty-
carpet by the guild.
That's right.
Yes.
Fight the
Narrative.
navigators.
Fight the
And
guild.
I'm using Charmer to get people to believe what we're saying.
Okay. Because there is actually a genuine effort by the leadership of the ship to find someone to blame. For obvious reasons.
Fourth Directorate, obviously.
Which actually has nothing to do with you as people. It's literally the guild protecting its own. So you are fighting literally the leadership of the ship, not because they think you're responsible, because they want you to be responsible.
That's a
find
perfect cover for us too, because then we can always say that they tried to blame someone else. if they
Exactly.
somehow connect us to their.
All right,
me.
so the way this is going to work is I
Nice.
want accumulation of successes. Can I get starting with? I think we should start off with Verloff, who's sort of creating the false evidence or the false evidentiary trail to back it all in. So Verloff, can you make I assume it'll be a logic plus your investigation skill, investigation
Okay.
talent, please.
So you get +1. Okay.
Push it.
And I'm anxious.
Are you going to push?
Oh,
I
I'm
have no hope
pushing.
left.
Oh, you've got no hope
No,
left,
no,
that's
no.
right. But you'll have
But-
recovered.
oh no,
This is-
no,
okay.
you've got no hope.
Yeah,
left.
yeah, we've recovered,
Okay.
so fine.
I'll
Actually, no,
push.
you know what? Maybe we play it this way. No, so so
Doesn't
yeah,
matter.
doesn't matter. You didn't succeed anyway. All right, so that's Verloff attempting to lay out some paper trail. I think then it seems like the false narrative article is the next most logical step in the path. So Eosop, can you give me I can tell stories better than anyone else on the planet roll? You may actually apply your modifier for cultural awareness if you want.
Logic or empathy?
I think
Do you-
empathy.
I think that's what I think. Yeah. Okay. So
I think you're trying to tell a story.
yes.
You're not worried about the
No.
facts per se. You're trying to
No, I'm not worried about the facts.
call
Okay,
upon
so-
people's tropes. You're calling upon tropes here. Of course, the fourth directorate are hiding.
Now, I of course am using my renown, which just allows
course you
me
are.
to
Roll again at no cost.
roll again. So I'm just going to do another empathy roll that's completely separate and add.
Go for it.
And so
Will that got
Well,
you a
fine.
success? Do you want
I
to push it?
oh yeah, absolutely.
Because you can push. There you
Oh,
go.
there
An
you
additional
go.
success was accumulated. All right, so that's so what story have you told?
Oh, how the navigators have been manipulating the ship from the inside, and that Ashmira and her story is valid, and I just go on and on with dribble about how there's been how the conspiracies all add up to one to one identifying factor,
The
right?
ship.
Yeah.
The
Also-
navigators are doing the investigation. The navigators own the ship.
Yeah.
Obviously, they want to blame somebody else. They've chosen.
Because
They've chosen Jed because
Yes,
Verloff because he's not a
Verloff.
navigator.
Well, and
That's right.
also
because
it
feelings
does occur
don't
to
care
me,
about your facts.
they would be explicitly downplaying the blight angle. Like the
also-
main point they're making is Verloff overreacted. That the
Right,
ship,
but
you know,
hold on,
that
but
it was Verloff's fault that all this damage occurred, not the Blight. Because the last thing they want is people assert, because the Blights are, you know, I mean, you can't get around the Blight, as it were. So their plan of attack in their messaging is there was no real Blight infection. Verloff overreacted and caused the ship to crash into the hull and do all of that damage.
But in my
but the
scathing,
truth is, the truth. Now, hold on. The truth of the workers, the Coriolite crewmen who cleaned up the fucking Blight with my bird, we know the truth, and obviously this is a plot against Coriolites. This is trying to keep us here in this lost horizon because the navigators are all over that sort of shit. Bloody Babylon.
Which is the perfect segue for Yasina to make an empathy roll plus their cultural. I'm a cultural.
Can I use cultural savant and actor?
No, you can use one or the other.
Well, I'm going to use cultural savant because I've got 2 levels in that.
Fair.
Also, I want to remind you that I documented when we met the.
And I'm pushing that.
Yep. Go. Sorry.
Obviously.
Yeah.
When I start
okay.
up.
Ewan, do you want to? What were you saying?
Oh,
Yeah, when we met the fake navigator down in the Ziggurat, I took I'm not sure videos or photos. I documented it because we needed proof that we'd met them before we knew that.
Before you
so
knew
we
that
have
they were
some
actually
strange odd photos from a navigator standing beside a huge
with glittering orange or red veins running over their face.
Yeah.
That's
so
nasty.
If you want
that
to
works
use
quite
that,
well.
It could be slipped out, not officially, but maybe.
Look, the storyline is building. Make me a logic roll, please, to sort of slip the stories in, Asmira. You're going to.
I just want to point out that our Coriolites were furious, but just disregarded as religious nutters.
I'm thinking maybe Yosop can slip out the news for me because I'm not good at this.
Oh, okay. All right. Yosop, you've got further fuel for the fire.
Especially when they had denied or everything, we can slip
Oh,
out some.
yes. Evidence after denial. We were never on the planet. There was no Blight. Here's a navigator covered in Blight shit. Like it.
Exactly.
and
make a roll for me, please.
And on top of that, I do mention the fact that there was blight in the very beginning before we left. And so yeah, it's
True.
all bad. All bad.
All right.
I'm
Do you
absolutely
want to roll
pushed.
but do you want to roll an additional dice? Like you've got you can roll actually literally an additional dice, so just roll an extra d6 and see if you get a success with it. Nope. Okay. All right. So you've got 3. And then Attila, you're gonna try and sort of tell this story. You're gonna use your charm offensive to sort of say, come on, people, do we really believe here? Words that
come on. We're not going to believe the pigs, are we?
Exactly. We're not going to believe these.
Apparently we are.
And now push that one. Push that one.
You push it.
Yeah.
That'll do.
All right.
I'll take it.
So out of all of that, you get 4 successes, which is actually enough. So, right. So it's basically media war at 20 paces. There's a nullifying, like there's camps that form around the 2 stories, but there's never so you convince more of the crew, but not enough to worry the leadership. But the leadership also feel like there's enough of the crew convinced that actually doing something to you directly would result in, you know, sort of unhelpful mutinous type of behavior. So it's effectively a Russian, you know, it's effectively a what's the term? It's a standoff, with you holding the majority of the belief of the crew and the crew sort of protecting you from direct action by the leadership, but also not having convinced either any of the leadership or so much of the crew, the leadership feel they have to do something to appease them. So it's a sort of classic standoff. And you pull, and you then arrive in the ship's city and rapidly disembark before the Fourth Directorate actually turns up.
Asking questions we
Because
don't
their
want to
thoughts are
answer.
manifold, most of which are they don't care about the truth, which is sad, which is lucky, because if they actually cared about the truth, we'd be in even more strife. But the reality is they just want to make us responsible. It actually doesn't matter whether we did it or not. They just want to hurt us.
Let's leave.
Let's leave now before they get a chance to do any of that.
Yeah.
So you disembark from the great ship and land your shuttle. And you hand over to Yergi, the Black Toad representative who you met, the very large man who likes to hurt people, and was going to pay you, and is still going to pay you. So each of you gets 6,000 rook.
Whoa!
Which includes 4 months worth of pay at 1,000 rook, plus the delve of 1,000. Plus expedition bonus on top of that. Actually, I think I've done. Oh, and then no, that's right. And then you convinced him to top it up slightly, so you've gotten to 6,000 rook in total each that your characters now have in their back pocket, ready to rock and roll, giving you a sum total of 30,000 rook. Between the 5 of you. All right, so to finish it off, what we will do is experience points, people. Experience points. So, in classic Year Zero engine, we are going to be asking a series of questions. The answer to each of these questions will allow you to gain experience. I will note, it does say you get the experience after each session, but noting sessions tend to be short. And also, to be honest, I think that... actually, it's really interesting. I hadn't thought about this. In a game where you've got talents which are adding sort of smaller dice bonuses, maybe that higher rate of experience actually kind of makes sense, because you're not going to min-max as fast as you would in Coriolis, where you're just enhancing, sort of the core skills. And yes, you can buy talents, but let's be upfront, you're mostly enhancing the core skills. It's an interesting reflection. I hadn't really thought about it until literally right now. 3 or 4 hours of play. Yeah, so it's probably worth... So we've played for 8-10 hours, actually. We've played, 4 sessions? So each of them around about 2 hours. So
we could say twice.
5
2
sessions.
lots.
So it would be 2 lots of XP, I think, in that scenario.
Yeah.
I think that's right, Matt. I think that's spot on. Anyway, so just noting... We'll just double the XP at the end. That'll be fine.
Okay.
So it's interesting because when you look at the improvement cost, to buy a level 2 talent actually costs you twice as much as buying a level 1.
Yeah.
And to buy a level 3 costs you 3 times as much. So it is actually quite expensive to advance. So actually that higher return, that higher ratio of XP will probably... it's standard for all Year Zero, but it's faster than I normally allow my players to advance, just because I find you get to min-maxed sort of characters too fast in Year Zero if you let them do it after every 2 hours of play. Okay, did you participate in the sessions? Yes. Okay, good. That was easy.
I didn't.
Most of them.
So that's Pete. You did. We saw you. Did anyone role play their quirk? That's a good question.
Oh, my quirk. I did.
Yes.
I was overly polite in an early adventure. Not this last session. I was, and I think that's my quirk, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what did people have as quirks?
And in fact, I was quite polite when I told the captain I wasn't going to tell him how to do his job.
And Asmira definitely was reading at the beginning. I remember that quite well. They were always pulling out a book to read. What's
Thrill
the
Seeker?
Thrill Seeker. Yep. I think that was satisfied a number of times over.
Outrageous
you
makeup
on the
and
hull of the ship, you mean?
Yeah, come on!
I think
And no helmet.
was wearing the makeup and glasses at all times,
All
never
times.
without appropriate clothing, even when delving, as we discussed.
Oh yeah, there was makeup.
There was makeup, and there was dirty hair. And Verloff, what was yours?
You're on
Oh,
mute,
you're on
bud.
You're
mute.
muted.
But it's eye-catching tattoo.
Now
Yeah,
you're
my
now we
tattoo
can hear you.
continue to exist.
Oh, that's a great quirk to roleplay.
Yeah, now that I realise that quirks actually drive XP, I'd probably put a harder line on quirks than I
But
did
I
when
think
we set it
the
up.
tattoo just matches standing on the back of a ship while it's flying, shooting the hell out of another ship. I mean, that's a tattoo roleplay for me.
That
Yeah.
is right.
Indeed, and I'm aware that Drax the Destroyer does have a lot of tattoos as well.
He
So
does.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
Yeah.
Did you explore an unknown location? Yes, you did.
Absolutely.
Did you investigate a mystery? Yes, you did.
Yes.
Did you instigate? I like the fact it starts with did you instigate? I deeply respect that as a question. Or partake in intrigue. Yeah, I reckon there's a fairly high chance you can make that one.
We didn't even know these questions and we did it.
No,
I
no, we
genuinely
didn't.
like that. I actually really like that question. Did you instigate or partake in intrigue? And it actually goes back to the conversation we've had that I've generated, which is I think the lore of the Great Dark actually does allow you a lot of that type of capability. So I like the fact there's actually literally a question for that. That's a nice touch. Did you help another explorer? I mean, notionally, you helped each other.
Yeah.
There were a few moments where I had some doubts, but I mean, look, overall, I think there was a I mean, Verloff saved people's lives with coiler carbines many times over.
Yeah.
we are a close-knit team.
Yes.
You are.
Yes.
Look, at
very
no
much
point
so.
did any of you think, should we let Attila just die? As a matter of fact, actually, it's a good point. Yesenia, you leapt to save Attila.
Yeah.
At the airlock. You opened the airlock. I think, there you go. All right, right there. Did you overcome a difficult challenge? Actually, I mean, yeah, I think so. I think over the 4 sessions, I think you faced into some reasonably decent risks. And did you interact with your affiliated factions through your contracts or backgrounds, which I think you all did. I think the Black Toad in particular got a good run, and so did the Coriolites. Thank you very much, Matt, for giving them life. So actually, I think that's maxed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8. So 16 experience.
Woohoo!
So talent improvement costs. It's 5 points for a level 1 talent. It's 10 points for a level 2, and it's 15 points for a level 3.
Okay.
So 5 times the level of the talent you're trying to buy is the cost. So when you so if you're lifting a 1 to a 2, it'll cost you 10. If you're buying 3 1s, it'll cost you 15, so forth and so on.
So we essentially we can buy a new talent.
So we can
have 5.
For 5.
And raise 1.
We could raise 1 to 3. We could buy a new talent and raise another to 2, or we could have 3 new talents.
Yeah.
With our 16 points.
Now, what we haven't talked about is crew points. Because you get those as well. So, did the crew take on a challenge together? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Multiple times, I'd actually say, in this particular set of sessions. Did the crew undertake a delve, a trek, or a great ship voyage? I think we ticked that box very effectively through the sessions, so that's another point. Did you find a new builder glyph or a new artifact? Ooh.
We did.
No, you didn't. No,
the fragments.
The builder fragments.
No,
they're not new. They're not new. Okay, fair enough.
So there was a room that you could have gone to in the delve that explicitly had both of those things, but you actually didn't go there. So for you, the ziggurat to a large extent was a mystery, but there was actually a room that had kit in it that was specifically builder tech doing something specific.
Now, what I find really cool as an observation is, if this were a dungeon crawl, we probably would have gone to every last room like dungeon crawls tend to be. But because of the supply, there was a sense of urgency. So and we didn't want to go everywhere. We wanted to accomplish the goal and get the hell out. Excellent.
And I think, yeah, and I think what's going to happen if you were to play more, you'd start to weigh up those questions, right? You'd go, well, hold on, we've got enough supply to do an extra room. But of course, it puts us on the edge of, if we fuck up on the way out, we might end up in a really bad place. What do we want to do? Yeah, interesting. Anyway, so actually, I'm not going to give you that point. I'm gonna withhold that point. Did you give or were you promised a favor from a faction? Yeah, I'm going to tick that one. I think you definitely did your job. And did you turn in an artifact to a faction? Which the answer is no, because you didn't go to the place where you would have collected the. Anyway, so you actually get 1, 2, 3 crew points, which is not enough to do anything with, because needless to say, it costs you 5 CP to do stuff. And in answer to the obvious question, you can buy additional. You can learn new maneuvers. So the maneuvers you've already got, you can learn a maneuver. In addition to that, you can improve your bird by giving it a new power aligned to its type. Or it can actually learn powers outside of its type, but that costs 10. You can also increase the maximum health or energy of the bird by 1 for 5. That's cool. And then finally, you can use crew points to improve your shuttle or rover at a cost dependent on the improvement you're trying to do. Which is nice, because it's kind of getting away from how much money does it cost you to improve your vehicle to just turning it into a crew point model, which I actually think is a better answer, because as I previously said, I'm not sold on dollars as a mechanism in year 0 for managing purchasing and other things. I do really prefer the model that's used for Vaesen. I particularly like it just because I think it shows class difference so well, and I think in a game like the Great Dark, that access to wealth issue is materially different, and I think it would be better to show that through that dice rolling pool mechanic. Anyway,
can I just talk about a thing I want to spend my 6,000
rook on?
Yeah. I have a sneaking suspicion that when I get back to Ship City, my family heirloom Coriolis lumen rifle, worth, I note, 5,500 rook, was pawned, possibly even generations ago, by my family, and now I can reclaim it and alongside it my Coriolis heritage. Would that be allowable? I know we're not actually paying another adventure.
It would absolutely be allowable. I like that idea a lot. So, yep.
And that brings me back down to 500 rook, which is my usual.
Your normal. And this
standard of living.
This is how you guys end up being poor all the time. It's like, we're going to go and pay premium for this thing that.
Yeah, but have you seen a lumen rifle? They're gorgeous.
They are beautiful works of art.
It goes really well with my peacock-coloured bird.
I will just say it is also extremely deadly. Like, a lumen rifle is extremely deadly. It's got 4 bonus dice. It does 4 damage base. It's got a crit of 5. It's got auto fire, and it can handle all ranges out to extreme.
Sounds like
and just to say, it's a Coriolis exclusive.
Yeah, it's a Coriolis exclusive. Yes.
Because nobody wants to use that old shit.
Oh, it doesn't matter. For you guys, the difference between animate armor and Janissary exo armor was probably always a bit thing. But actually, the guy was wearing Zor Janissary exo, which gives him bonuses to a shit ton of things. Comes with jet engines and grenade launchers and built-in coiler weaponry. It's a nasty piece of kit, which you never encountered because you just hacked him. All right, and that's it.
Yeah,
nice. That's it. Thank you very much. I enjoyed it very much.
Me too.
I did too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And a nice touch with doing the one ring kind of what did they call it, conferences or the I like councils. I love that little element. That was a nice addition.
Yeah, it seemed right for the problem. I do like the fact that, as is almost always the case in games, you generated the crisis that you then had to resolve. You know, I respect that. I'm like, okay. I respect everything about it. So yeah, so thank you very much. I thought that was great fun. Actually, I thought it was such great fun that I'm actually going to run the Great Dark for one of my home groups. We're playing Cult right now. We're playing through a Cult adventure. When that finishes, I'm going to go forth and run the Great Dark because I actually think it's very doable as a game. And they want a slight horror element, but I think maybe not. The next, like they're kind of looking for something slightly less horror-y. Noting Cult is at one end of that spectrum.
Just have him encounter us.
Yeah. We're
a bit of a nightmare team.
That's true.
And we all dress
complete
like clowns
psychopath.
and yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts?
It's great.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well,
really
can
fun.
I just ask who would be interested in taking another session in the next 2 to 3 weeks to record a bit for the program about our impressions of the Great Dark?
I'd be interested.
Yeah.
I would be. The only week I can't do it. Actually, I mean, I could probably do it.
Okay, so we're online we're live, so we could take this out of this.
I'm going to stop recording.
So let's all say bye to everybody so that we can go, and we'll see you.
Bye, dear listeners.
Bye, everybody.
Hope you enjoyed it.